Okay, folks, this is the beginning of the 2026 Bachelor Creek Prospecting Expedition. Not long after this photo was taken, I lost my cell phone, let's say, and so no video for this year's expedition. Just going to be an old-fashioned slideshow. We got to camp about 10 o'clock at night, unpacked a few essentials like the beer. The big tent was already set up on a previous trip. Colt set up his little pup tent for the night, and we enjoyed a beautiful sunset before bed. Next morning was beautiful and sunny. I was able to set up the grill, make breakfast, while Donnie had ground some coffee beans by hand so we could have fresh ground coffee. Then we set up the cook tent. And while I was busy setting that up for business, Colt went down and started setting up his cold dredge, and Donnie took off with my solar panel. I was kind of mad at him about that. Once I got camp all straightened up and the beers in the cooler, I went down to the creek to see what Colt was up to. He was already set up and running material by the time I got there. I was able to get my dredge in the water and find where I wanted to start, but I think by then I'd maybe had a few too many beers. Ended up taking a nap on the beach like this old dog. This old boot represents a mystery. I had laid my boots out and my waders right beside the trail when we went back to camp. And when we showed back in the morning, one boot was completely missing, and the one that remained had no shoelaces left in it. This is my hot water system for dredging. It's just a little coal-fired burner. I use charcoal briquettes, a few handfuls of those, and I can heat up that tub of water. Got a little 12-volt pump, keep it circulating. I get out of the water, I put the hose down in my suit, warm up fast. Spent a few hours dredging, and then the wind came up. Even with the hot water heater, I didn't feel like keeping going. I was getting a little puny, so we went back up to camp, cut some wood, started a fire, made some coffee, and called it a day. The next day, we woke up to wind and rain. Spent some time building a windbreak, but after I got my water heater heating water, the circulating pump went dead because of, well, that's why I was mad at Donnie about the solar panel. The battery went dead. Yeah. But after being thoroughly chilled the day before, I was in no mood to get back in the water, especially without a working water heater. Colt tried to get a little bit done, but it was pretty miserable. We drug back to camp, started a blazing fire, and stayed up to the wee hours drinking and telling stories. The next day we decided to move downstream to a spot where we could work in gravel bars out of the main current. We did that for a couple of days and then decided it wasn't panning out. So we packed up and moved our stuff back to gravel bar close to camp. By then we were getting low on beer and groceries. Even the doggies were suffering. So we made good use of the hot water heater, got ourselves cleaned up, buttoned up the cook tent, and headed to town for supplies. So here we are on the way back in after getting our supplies. You know, people sometimes ask me about the condition of the trail, especially the washouts, and here's a section that can be bad sometimes. It's not real bad right now, but one good rainstorm can change that overnight. And then once you get over the mountain, back down to the creek, here's another washout that just this year it's gotten pretty bad. I almost tipped the side-by-side negotiating this one. We stopped and talked to a fellow prospector who's on the first tailings pile as you come into the Bachelor Creek mine proper. Here's a look at his old school tent, and Down there we see his 4-inch dredge right close to camp where you can keep an eye on it. I like this camping spot. We stayed there a few years back. 2024 when we came out, we didn't have a grate for our fire pit, so I yanked that one up and took it up to camp. The next year I brought it back, put it where I found it, and I don't think anyone ever missed it. Okay, let's talk about this landmark. It's known as the trailer. Anybody familiar with the area? The creek's kind of split up, but downstream of the trailer and upstream of the trailer kind of splits the workings in half. This is state land. This is listed on a DNR website as a public shelter, and I know a lot of people have stayed here over the years. We even have markings on the wall. People put dates on the wall, and so it goes back at least to 1996. Here's another landmark, just an old A-frame shelter somebody built. People still store some of their equipment here. It's just downstream of the trailer, so if you're looking for it and you get here, coming downstream, you've gone too far, turn around and look back and you can see it. Home sweet home. I always love it when my camp comes into view. Well, up until this point, it had been a pretty disappointing season with my dredge. So I took my pick, shovel, and gold pan, started walking the creek, and I found this little crevice that I could work. Started working it by hand, and then brought my dredge in, and I got a good solid afternoon in this one little spot, and actually got a good pan out of it. Well, the next morning started off clear and sunny, but we could see the storm clouds building on the horizon, so it was time to start breaking camp. That's the sad thing about it. Every good prospecting trip might come to an end. We broke down all the tents. We left a few things in the lean-to. We'll have to come back for later in the week. But it's done, I'm afraid. Well, I hope you enjoyed the old-fashioned slideshow, and stay tuned for next year.